What is Second Life? It is a free social network in which members appear as avatars in a 3D world. But what makes this virtual world really different is that the members are able to build content which can then be used by, seen by, or sold or rented to other avatars. Using this system, we have created the Virtual Scottish Highlands. I'm Gerald Wiley, and I'm going to take you on a tour. Currently, we have the 4 sims. It covers Inverness to the western end of Loch. Short-term expansion plans are to get to Skye, Fort William, Glen Affric, Beaulieu, Nairn and Aviemore. People come from all over the world into Second Life. There's a virtual Dublin, London, Tokyo, Berlin, but no Scotland. We are the only professionally managed representation of Scotland in Second Life, and we really do need to keep Scotland's profile up so that when people are making those holiday decisions, they're keeping Scotland in mind rather than London, Dublin and Berlin. Within Second Life you can teleport. That's what we're going to do now. So we have a quick look at the world map. I want to take you to our orientation area so I can show you that. We click on the teleport button, and here we are in our welcome area. Anyone who arrives in the Virtual Scottish Highlands for the first time arrives here. This is where we tell them not only about us, but also for really new visitors how to use the various controls that make your avatar walk around. So let's just head out of the map area here, and you'll see what most people see as they arrive. Experienced people and regular visitors click here to teleport directly down into the city. Anyone who's new to Second Life would follow on in this path, where they find various instructions on how to use their viewers and various other pieces of equipment within their computer. We have a small video here which helps explain how some of the equipment works. Then we continue to take them through this area where they find out what we have on offer. We also introduce them to the Linden Dollar, which is a secure way of doing business within Second Life. As they progress through this walkway, they learn more about what we have on offer. People can rent homes. I'll mention that again later. Shopping. We have an Essie Hunt game. Again, I'll mention that later because it brings a lot of people into the Virtual Scottish Highlands. There's also a crystal maze, balloon rides, a Loch Ness exhibition sponsored by the Loch Ness Centre and Exhibition in Drumnadrochit. There's information on events. There are continual events, including live music events that go on in the Virtual Scottish Highlands. They're listed here. And now we're going to go right to the end, and we're going to teleport down to the main Inverness city part of the sim. Do you wish you could do that in real life? Well, here we are at the main landing point. You can see some advertisements here for Inverness Guesthouse Association and Inverness Bed and Breakfast Association businesses. And just to the left, a map so that you can orientate yourself and know exactly where you are in the Virtual Scottish Highlands. We've arrived beside Ironworks, which recently had a Go North event live both in the real Inverness and here. And now we're going to walk up Academy Street. You'll see there are shops here. Each of these shops is making money selling products to other avatars. Most of the products are for use in world, but some of them are for use outside in the real world. The in-world currency allows you to trade without using credit cards here. One shop we'll stop beside here and have a quick look is a furniture shop. Remember I said that people can rent houses? Well, this is what they put inside them. Many people get different things from Second Life. Here's a shop that actually sells kilt outfits for your avatar if you want them. Personally, I find building is what really is the most enjoyable aspect of Second Life for me, but also designing games. So let's look at one. Back in the 1980s, I designed a board game called Ness Hunt. I always wanted to put it into a 3D environment, and that's what we've done here. And a lot of people come in to play this. It keeps the whole area busy. So let's go and have a look at how the game is played. We've arrived at the main registration area, and this is where we click on a representation of Eire and England, who sets up the database for you to then begin to play. You collect money from your banker, and the logistics advisor helps you if you run into problems. There are also help cubes, but maybe the word help is a little misleading because they can give you some real trouble as well. And here you can see a notice board for the Loch Ness project, and anyone clicking that is taken directly to the Loch Ness project website. Here's the leaderboard from back in July this year, and you can see there are prizes of $30,000 Linden dollars paid out each year. On this jetty you can see some Loch Ness project research equipment. Now by clicking on that, we're given some evidence. Let's have a look at that evidence. Here you can see a shell, a sort of snail, but a very brittle shell. And when you read the note card, not only do you get 60 points, but you find that this small snail has a very fine shell because of the low pH, acidity, and low calcium content of the Loch's water. So we're unobtrusively educating people about Loch Ness by having them participate in this game. But what of the monster? You can't have a Nessie game without a Loch Ness monster, surely. Well, there's real Loch Ness evidence within the game too. Let's click on this sonar machine and see what transpires. Now here we have a sonar chart with some parallel wavy lines. But in fact it was later discovered that those wavy lines could be made by boat wakes. So, well, this may not be the Loch Ness monster. But the evidence is always critically analysed, and it always gives you points towards your overall total for the month. But we can also have some fun with the game players. Here a blazing chip pan is hurled from the galley and causes a steeply diving target. Well, that never really happened, but the first sentence in each of these cards is game information. The rest of the information is real, and it's about the real search at Loch Ness. Here's the inside of the Loch Ness and Moira Project's research vessel in 1984. So the game is a blend between real events at Loch Ness and understanding the natural history of Loch Ness, and just a bit of fun. You start with surface cameras like this one, and you move on through underwater cameras, sonar machines, biological equipment, and we even have a cage for you to deploy to try and catch the monster. But there is more to this than just playing games. Here you see a reconstruction of Boleskine House, including its secret passage if you can find it. Now let's travel over here to Drumnadrochit, where we have a reproduction of the Loch Ness exhibition. Now of course we can't reproduce the multimedia exhibit that is in the real exhibition today, but what we can do is make sure that our exhibition is accurate and that it provides good background information as well. Each of these boards can be clicked to gain extra information. You can see we're dealing with the fault line, continental drift, the Ice Age, and of course all the famous Loch Ness pictures are in here too. Moving down to the other end of the loch where Fort Augustus Abbey stands, we've recreated the Story of Scotland exhibition from the mid-90s, and this exhibition covers the history of Scotland right through from prehistoric times to present day. Many people, such as the disabled, can't travel to Scotland to visit these places in real life, but we can give them a flavour of our history and heritage within Second Life. Next to the Abbey we have the Abbey Church, and real services are conducted in here. It's also a place where people can just come and sit for peace and quiet, connected to the Abbey cloisters. One of the mix of Second Life from the heritage point of view is that we can actually take real castles that are ruined today and show you them as they were back in their heyday. Here we're beside the River Garry, and there is the ruin of Glengarry Castle. Now if we approach it, you'll find a teleport device there, which we're going to click on, and that is going to take us to the reconstruction of how the castle was in 1679. You notice the squares on the ground. This is because the Glengarry Trust is actually selling parts of Glengarry in order to try and finance the upkeep of the ruined castle. But here you see the castle in its heyday. And we can go inside and visit it and walk up the various floors and see an exhibition produced by the Glengarry Trust for that effect. They have nowhere in the real world to put an exhibition about their work, but they can do that in Second Life. Here we can enter the castle as it was in 1671, see an exhibition about their good works, see reconstruction of spiral staircases, the beams, tables and such like, and here even the ruined fireplace has been reconstructed and lit for your enjoyment. Here you can see the Jacobite Spirit operated by Jacobite cruises. They have the cruises on Loch Ness in real life. Here we're travelling along, learning something about the Great Glen and its geological fault line. These cruises are very popular indeed in Second Life. I hope that this short video has given you some idea about what we're trying to do in the Virtual Scottish Highlands. And it's so cheap to advertise. An ad board can cost as little as £10.40 per year. You can even sponsor a whole sim, an entire area of the Virtual Scottish Highlands, quite inexpensively. We have produced this video really to show you how important Second Life is to Scotland's tourism. Remember, people from all over the world are in Second Life. They all take vacations. All of the other major countries have some sort of representation. Only Scotland is completely missing. What we're doing here is trying to give Scotland that face within Second Life, and we need your help to expand it, to cover more of the Scottish Highlands, to get out to Skye, to get down to Fort William and beyond, and also to get out towards the east. A group of enthusiasts are unable to do that on their own. Look at this aerial view towards the end of Loch Ness with Loch in the distance, but look to the right and left. We can put in some scenery here. It can be done quite inexpensively. It just needs the will of the tourist industry to make sure that they back us. Then people will be able to wander around the entire Highlands of Scotland in Second Life. And when they come to book their vacation, surely they're going to be thinking about and considering Scotland. It'll be in their minds. So let's see this as another form of public relations for our country and our tourist industry. You don't have to read magazines to know the importance of representations of Scotland within magazines to our industry. You don't need to watch television to know how important it is when there's a television series which features Scotland. This is the same principle. You don't need to participate in Second Life in order to see how it can benefit the Highlands of Scotland tourism industry. Come on board now.